Good morning, my dear students of class 8. I welcome you all to your social science class. So, students, today we will complete this chapter, Mineral and Power Resources, and we will discuss about the remaining two non-conventional sources of energy. But before that, students, we will do a revision of the various other non-conventional sources of energy which we discussed in our previous class. Okay. So, students, in the previous class, which was the live class, we discussed about four important non-conventional sources of energy: solar energy, wind energy, nuclear power or nuclear energy, and geothermal energy. So students, what is solar energy? Solar energy is the energy which is obtained from the sun. So what happens when the rays of the sun or when the heat of the sun, it is trapped in solar cells meaning solar panels, and when these solar cells are combined, that's when we get solar panels. So these solar panels helps in the generation of electricity. That's how the energy which is obtained from the sun, that is solar energy, can be used to produce electricity, okay, by trapping it in solar cells and by combining many such solar cells into solar panels, okay. And then students, wind energy. So wind energy is the energy which is obtained from wind, and during the days of high wind, when high speed wind blows, what happens during such days, students? This high speed wind, it moves the windmill, okay, it moves the windmill which is connected with a generator, and this movement of the windmill, when it is connected with the generator, it helps in the generation of electricity. That's how electricity is generated from wind energy, okay. And then students, we discussed about nuclear power. So nuclear power or energy is the energy which is obtained from the nuclei of atoms of the various naturally occurring chemical elements like uranium and thorium. And students, lastly, we also discussed about geothermal energy. So geothermal energy is the energy which is obtained from the interior of the earth's crust, okay. We all know that when we go deep and deep into the interior of the earth, the temperature, it rises steadily, okay, and this rising temperature, when it gets mixed with the underground water, it comes out or it surfaces in the form of hot springs, okay. And these sources of energy, this solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, nuclear power energy, these are excellent sources of heating, lighting, fuel, etc., okay. So students, these were the four important sources which we discussed in the last class. Today we will discuss about tidal energy and biogas energy. So our learning outcome for today's class is you will develop knowledge about what tidal energy and biogas energy are. Also, you will understand the merits and demerits of both these types of non-conventional sources of energy, okay. So students, tidal energy. So tidal energy is the energy which is obtained from tides. Tides means the rising and falling of the sea. It is like the sea waves, okay. So the energy which is obtained from tides is called tidal energy. Now how can we collect or how can we use this tidal energy? We can collect or we can use this tidal energy by constructing dams at the openings of the sea, okay. By constructing dams at the openings of the sea, we can harness or we can utilize this tidal energy. So students, during the days when there is high tide, what happens? This energy of the tides, it turns the turbine which is installed in the dams. So the dams which are which are constructed at the opening of the sea, inside the dams turbines are installed, okay. Just like windmills are like fans, okay, a circular kind of thing is there. Similarly, in the dams which are constructed for collecting tidal energy, there also we have turbines. So turbines are fan like things. When during the days of heavy tides, what happens? This energy of the tides, it moves the turbine, okay, it moves the turbines which are installed in the dams, and this movement of the turbine helps in the generation of electricity, okay. So that's how we can use tidal energy to generate or to produce electricity, okay. I'm just repeating once again. So students, tidal energy is the energy which is obtained from tides. How? By constructing dams at the openings of the sea, and inside the dams turbines are installed. So during the days when there is heavy tide, so what happens, this energy of the tides, it moves the turbines, okay, and this movement of the turbines, it generates electricity, okay. And students, the major countries having tidal energy plants are Russia, France, and in India it is the Gulf of Kutch, okay. So these are the places where we have major tidal energy or power station. And students, the world's first tidal energy station, it was built in France, okay. Now students, what are the merits and demerits of tidal energy? So tidal energy, we all know that it is inexhaustible, okay. It is a renewable source of energy, and it is non-polluting. It does not create any pollution, okay. But then students, this tidal energy, it destroys wildlife, basically the aquatic lives, the lives which are there in the seas, in the oceans, the various fish species, etc., okay. Because what happens when they live in the seas and the river, they cross the turbine, okay, and while crossing the turbine, most of them, they lost their lives, okay. So it is a threat to the wildlife, particularly to the aquatic lives, okay. And students, it is very difficult to collect, it is very difficult to harness, so that is also another major difficulty. So while it is non-polluting and it is renewable, but at the same time it can create a threat to the aquatic lives, and also it is difficult to harness, okay. Next is biogas. So students, biogas is another non-conventional source of energy which is mostly used in the rural areas, okay. So students, what is biogas? Biogas is the energy, or it is the fuel which is obtained from the organic waste or the natural waste, okay. So what are the organic waste which can be used to produce biogas? So the various animal dungs, to be precise cow dung, then the dead plants and animals, the decays of the plants and animals, then the kitchen waste, agricultural waste, etc., can be used to produce biogas. Now how can we convert this waste into biogas? This waste is converted into biogas by a system. The name of that system is biogas digester. And students, inside that biogas digester there are bacteria. So what happens when these waste, these cow dung, then kitchen waste, etc., when these waste are processed, or when these waste are inserted in that biogas digester which has bacteria in it, that bacteria decomposes the waste and converts it into biogas, okay. That's how the waste can be converted into biogas fuel or biogas energy, okay. And students, the biogas which is ultimately formed, it is a mixture of methane and carbon dioxide, okay. And students, biogas is an excellent fuel for cooking and lighting, okay, and it produces a huge amount of organic matter every year, okay. Now what are the merits and demerits of biogas? So students, biogas, it's very cost effective, the cost is very low, it can be afforded by the poor people as well. And students, it is easy to operate, meaning it is not very difficult to use, okay. It can be used by everyone, the process is very simple, okay. And it does not make use of something very costly, rather it makes use of the waste. The waste are basically recycled, okay. But student, its demerit is that since it produces methane and carbon dioxide, and we all know that carbon dioxide is one of the important gases which leads to greenhouse effect. So biogas can also cause greenhouse effect. Since it includes carbon dioxide in it, it is one of the major factors that can lead to greenhouse effect. And greenhouse effect, we all know it, when greenhouse effect takes place, it leads to climatic change. Our atmosphere, the temperature, it gets warmer, okay. So biogas, even though it is very cheap, it is cost effective, and it can make use of the waste. It recycles the waste, but at the same time, since it is a mixture of methane and carbon dioxide, because of that carbon dioxide, it can cause greenhouse effect, which can pose a serious threat to the climate of the world. Okay, that means one of the major reasons why our temperature is getting warmer day by day, it is because of this greenhouse effect, and this greenhouse effect can be caused by biogas. Okay, so students, these are the merits and demerits of biogas. So students, you see energy is everywhere, isn't it? Energy is in water, energy is in the sun, energy is in the wind, energy is in the earth. So energy is also in the waste that we generate. All we need to do is find out the various sources of energy. And students, another very important thing is we need to save energy. We need to learn regarding how to save energy, because energy that is saved is energy generated. Okay, and so it's high time that we should act wisely, and then only we can make a brighter energy future. If today we can use energy judiciously and carefully, our future generation will be assured of a better energy future. Okay, so students, this brings us to the end of this chapter. Today we discussed about tidal energy and biogas. Tidal energy is the energy obtained from the tides or the rising and falling of the sea, and biogas is the energy obtained from the various waste. Okay, and students, if in case you have any doubt, do ask me. So these are your homework questions. Explain briefly how we can use organic waste to generate energy. So here you basically have to write about the process of how we can convert the waste into biogas. Okay, so it's there in your textbook, so kindly frame your answer properly. Then the second question, write some ways in which one can save energy at home. So you have to write any 5 ways, any 5 simple ways in which one can save energy at their home. It can be by replacing the normal bulbs with the CFL bulbs or with the LED bulbs, then switching off the tap water when it is not in use, then switching off the lights, etc. Okay, so any 5 ways by which we can save energy at home. Okay, and then students, see the question number 3. Which sources of energy would you suggest for A, rural areas, B, coastal areas, and C, arid regions? So students, rural areas, in rural areas, the most suitable form of energy source is biogas. Okay, as I have already told you, in rural areas, since most of the people are poor and they do not have access to the modern sources of energy, this biogas is very accessible to them. Okay, coastal areas, in coastal areas which are mostly near the river banks, so in coastal areas they can use tidal energy or hydel power or hydel energy. Okay, next is arid regions. So students, arid regions are basically the hot and the dry regions like Rajasthan and all. So in the arid regions, the appropriate type of energy source would be, you can say, wind energy and solar energy, because these are hot and dry places, so the wind blows there continuously and also the sun rays fall there. Okay, so in arid regions the most suitable source of energy would be solar energy and wind energy. Okay, so students, kindly do these questions, submit in your Google Classroom against the assignment which has been created, and you need to submit it today between 8 to 9 p.m. Alright, thank you so much everyone. See you all in the next class.